I want to share with you just a little bit about why I'm so passionate about this conversation tonight, because this is truly a conversation. And I pray that once we host this conversation tonight, it continues. Perhaps you talk with your kids, you talk with your sisters, your brothers, you get the message out. Because my story is I almost died twice, one before the age of 20 and the other before the age of 40. And it was really because of the fact that I didn't know my blood type. I'm a blood type A, but I was born to a blood type O, and I ate her diet my whole life. As a result of that, I had some very serious complications that almost took me out of here. And so I am so passionate about letting everyone I know about the importance of learning their blood type, right? And so I want to first kind of just start with sharing a part of the problem we're experiencing here in the United States. We had this original diet, right? The plants and the fruits and the vegetables, the garden. We can think about our grandparents. Perhaps some of us have parents or grandparents that are now into their 90s. Some of them did live to at least 100 years old. But when you really think about it, that was the original diet. This new diet has created a situation. We've now given birth to a generation of kids that for the first time, they're predicted to have a shorter life expectancy than their parents. And that's because we're into this whole new processed and fried food everywhere we go. We are literally digging our grave with our very fork. It's a concept I call suicide. Now, there's something that we know is the silent killer, and that is heart disease. Do you know that in 2020, that's when the pandemic happened, and we were so captivated by how we can prevent, dying from the pandemic. But in that same year, do you know that 700,000 people died because of cardiovascular disease? Now, what's alarming about this number, it's 90% preventable, which means there are 630,000 people that died in 2020 that really didn't have to if they understood the concept of how a lot of what we're dealing with is truly the food. We also know that about 1 in 5 heart attacks are silent, which means people have a heart attack and don't know it, but the damage is done, but the person is just not aware of that. And that's according to our very own CDC. There's an alarming number of our own kids, 14 to 19 years old, who are showing as much as 40% blocked arteries. In fact, do you know the significance of the age 45 for African Americans? I want you to think for a second. What does that age mean, right? I mean, yeah, we're getting closer to 50, but what does it really, really, really mean when it comes to our health? And here's a staggering statistic that blew my mind. I don't know if you've experienced some of the things I've experienced, where I've had cousins and, uncles and people close to me that were in their 40s that looked like they were the picture of health, but they died of either a stroke or a heart attack. And I couldn't understand why that was happening. And then as I started doing research, what I found is this is a very common problem. When we turn 45, we're now more than twice as likely to die from heart disease. And what that means is here we are in our 40s walking around with blocked arteries, and we don't know it. We're literally ticking time bombs, okay? Dangerous levels of plaque. And so the reality is there's how we look on the outside, and that's what people see. They see maybe your youth, they see the fact that you work out, so you're very fit, but the reality is, how do we look on the inside? In fact, we have a saying here at Akanna, what the cell is going on, what's happening below the cell. And so what we're so passionate and excited about is we actually address the top 5 health problems and health concerns that are impacting communities all around the world. And so wouldn't you want to know what these 5 health concerns are so that you can start doing the right things to prevent what's happening, okay? And so number 1 is, do you know your blood type? So your blood type is a more reliable measure of your identity than race, culture, or geography. It is a genetic blueprint for who you are and a guide to how you can live most healthfully. And so we are committed to helping over 1 million people learn their blood type within the next 18 months. And so we want you to be a part of that number. We're going to break a Guinness Book of World Records, and we want you to be a part of that very significant achievement. And there are 4 blood types, just in case you didn't know. We have our blood type A's, our B's, our O's, and our AB's. And this is a powerful genetic fingerprint that identifies you surely as your DNA. And so when we think about the top, the blood types and how we explain those, A's are the agrarians. I mean, focused on farming and livestock. Now, we didn't eat the animals, but we often ate the eggs from the animals, okay? So we're considered to be the vegetarians. And then V is for balance. When you think about how humans migrated north into colder, harsher regions like Pakistan and India, O is for old. I mean, this is the original blood type, originated in Africa. We like to equate this to the blood of Moses, okay? Migrating into Europe and Asia. These are our early humans, hunters and gatherers, top survivors in the food chain with a strong and fierce immune system ready to destroy any threat, whether friend or foe. And then there's our AVs, and that's really modern life, okay? This is our newest blood type. It is less than 5% of the population that are AV bloods. And so it's important for us to get this message out, because we also know that we've developed and have this sophisticated immune system. And this immune system helps us to identify whether a substance in the body is a friend or a foe. And so one of the methods of us identifying this involves a chemical marker known as antigens, okay? And these antigens are found on the cells of our bodies. And one of those powerful antigens in the human body is the one that actually determines your blood type, okay? So that's a lot of science, but just know that this is a very important subject that you might have never really learned in school, but you need to learn that and share that with everyone you know, because it's your blood type that actually is the key to your body's entire immune system. It controls the influence of viruses, bacteria, infections, chemicals, and stress, and the entire assortment of invaders and conditions that might compromise your immune system. In fact, when you think about your blood type, it actually determines how food interacts with your cells. See, it's your blood type that's the most single important determinant in how your body is interacting with the food you eat, and if those foods will cause inflammation, digestive problems, and or weight gain. And so let's look at what happens when you eat against your blood type. We witnessed COVID and how it took out so many minorities, whether it was Hispanic community, African American community. And one of the things that happened is we found we were deficient in vitamin D. So the number 2 reason why people died from COVID was they were severely deficient in vitamin D. And so what you want to do right now is amp up your vitamin D, right? It's still summertime, so many of you are in cities where you can get some great sun. So that's a great way to prevent that. But another item they found was COVID attacked certain blood types more aggressively. So if you were a blood type A, B, or B, you were more likely to succumb from COVID than blood type O's. And so this is very critical that we understand this, because when we're eating these foods that contain these protein lectins that are incompatible with our blood type antigen, it's these lectins that are targeting our organs and bodily systems, and they begin to agglutinate blood cells in those areas for disposal. So it's like you're creating a situation that's creating a situation where your body is looking at certain things that really should be harmless, but it's attacking them as if they're a foreign invader, okay? And so we're creating these highly carcinogenic substances in our body when we regularly consume these foods that are high in lectins or animal protein. And so now let's just look at some facts, okay? Because many of you are like me. My grandparents made it into their 90s. My grandfather is 96, okay? And you're thinking, well, he didn't maybe know his blood type. Maybe he didn't eat according to his blood type. How is it that he was able to survive? We know our body is designed so brilliantly from our creator. And so most of these things that are incompatible with our blood, we're able to filter those out, okay? And so think about it this way. 5% of the items that we eat, 5% of the items that we eat are the items that go into the bloodstream. And when they're in the bloodstream, it's where they interact with our blood cells, they interact with our red and white blood cells, and that's where the damage occurs. But 95% of the items that we eat are actually sloughed off by the body. So when you really think about it, our body's only dealing with about 5%. But imagine if you're spending your whole life eating against your blood type, And now your immune system is compromised. And so it's not able to defend yourself the way that it was when we were young and youthful. And that's why the older we get, the more critical this information is, okay? Because there are serious consequences to eating against our blood type. This whole agglutination means there's a clumping of bacteria or red cells. When they're held together by antibodies, we call these agglutinins. And so we must learn. We have to break the generational cycle. We know the power is in our hands to do this. What happens if they give you the wrong blood? If they give you the wrong blood, let's say you have to get a blood transfusion and you're a blood type O, and they mistakenly give you the blood type of a blood type A. Do you know that literally it would kill you? Your blood would start clotting and it can instantly cause issues to the point of death. And so when you think about it, if our blood types are so different, if they're so uniquely a part of who we are, wouldn't it make sense that the food we're eating, if we're eating the wrong food, it could slowly be killing us? And so we have to take this seriously, guys, because there are foods that really, as one person, it could be your medicine, it could be your nutrition, but for another person, it could literally be your poison. And so this is a sample of some of the foods that, based on your blood type, you should not be eating. So if you look at this list, and if you know that you're a blood type A, or maybe you don't yet know your blood type, you're going to need to learn that so you can see what particular items you're eating on a weekly or daily basis that's causing the inflammation and a lot of the issues you're dealing with. Because even something as simple as a tomato, avocado, things that we think are healthy could actually be a big part of the problem. And so there's a book that was actually released back in 1996. And that book is called Eat Right for Your Type, okay? And so this is Dr. Peter J. D'Adamo. And he wrote this book to bring all this knowledge. But unfortunately, we're just now learning about this, because here in the United States, the reality is this: the reason why we're just learning about the impact of food on your blood cells is because the bottom line is, if it's not taught in medical school, if it's not created by our big pharma, it's just not promoted here in the United States. I mean, let's think about it. Big business equals profits over people. Let's think about the time in which cigarettes were promoted as something to reduce stress and anxiety. And doctors were on commercials smoking cigarettes, telling you to smoke more of them. And then trans fats. Let's think about margarine. I remember growing up as a child, and margarine was all throughout our home. You know, our family got rid of butter because we were told margarine was healthier. And now guess what? They know that these fake fats like margarine, hydrogenated oils, are what's creating what we call the trans fats. These are the fats that get lodged in our arteries and cause the strokes and the heart attacks. And so now, if you go to any grocery store, chances are you're not going to see margarine here in the United States. You might see it in other countries, because some countries still haven't caught up to the disaster we did in the United States by promoting that as a health food. And then when you think about the 5G with the cell phones, and the fact that kids, you know, are now developing something known as type 3 diabetes. And that's a response to this 5G radiation, where the cells and the DNA are being changed. And then genetically modified foods, and the number of cancer rates, and how now, for the first time in history, we're witnessing colon cancer will be the leading cause of death of people, you know, as young as 18 years old, right? Because of what? The foods that we're eating that are literally destroying us on the level of the DNA. And then milk. I mean, think about milk. This is something we are promoting in this country as a health food, something that does a body good. Athletes are on commercials. But we know that this contributes to mucus. This contributes to higher incidence of allergies and colds. We know that nature has equipped every species, including humans, with the nourishment they need. But however, we are the only species that consumes the milk of another animal beyond infancy, okay? And so this unnatural habit has created an acidic environment in our body. And this is all increasing the rates of cancer, you know, because we know that cancer will thrive in such acidic conditions. And so here's one of the things that really blew my mind. When I look at health when I look at nutrition, when I look at what is it we should be doing, one of the number one things we research is what are they doing in other countries that are living longer than us. Let's look at Japan for an instance. When we think about life expectancy, right? Japan is considered one of the healthiest countries in the world. Do you know whenever that book, Eat Right for Your Type, was launched, they were the first country to adhere to the practices of the blood type diet. But here in America, we debunked it. We said it's not true. It doesn't matter what your blood type is. And here's the result, guys. Let's look at life expectancy, because I believe that documentation beats conversation. And the reality is this: Japan, on average, they live to 84.6 years young. Here in this country, on average, we're only making it to 76 years. And that's the general population. But if you look at African Americans, we are losing the war, because we're dying at, on average, 71.6 years young. And so what we've got to realize, you know, despite what you hear, and a lot of times, again, it's confusion. You hear go vegan, go vegetarian, all these different words. But let's just look at the facts. Let's look at the countries like Italy and Greece. Let's look at Lima Londa, California, where you have the Seventh-day Adventists, right? Let's look at Japan. You know, these are the countries in which people are living on average, right, into their 80s, right? Some of them are living over 90 and 100 plus years. And when you really look at it, they're eating whole food. Sometimes they might eat a little bit of animals. They might have a little bit of fish, everything in moderation, but they have diets that are rich in fruits and vegetables, okay? And there's so much evidence out there, incidental evidence showing that when you change your diet based on blood type, what can happen. And so by following the blood type diet, you can protect yourself from common viruses and infections. You can take a stand against life-threatening diseases. You can achieve your ideal weight. You can slow down the aging process. We can cleanse our body of toxins and unhealthy fats. And so that's the first way we must get our bodies back into health. But there are four more. The second one that I want to talk about, it's something known as oxidation. If you're a parent, if you're a grandparent, I want you to pay close attention to this. And the reason why I'm asking you to pay close attention, because sometimes we're working with our kids that are 8 years old, that are 12 years old. And do you know, in some communities, they can't even identify broccoli. These kids are not getting exposed to daily nutrients that just meet the basic requirements. Now, when we're older, this becomes wrinkles, it becomes arthritis, it becomes premature aging. But for the youth, what's happening is we're witnessing kids dropping dead in their teens of heart disease. And so we've got to understand that our bodies, if we're not eating the proper amount of fruits and vegetables, we will oxidize, which means our bodies are rusting and rotting. And researchers have finally identified one of the most critical contributors to heart disease, wrinkles and cancer, arthritis, and many other problems associated with getting older, and the fact we're not getting our antioxidants. We're not eating fruits and vegetables. Ask yourself, over the last 3 days, the number of fruits and vegetables that you ate, the number of fruits and vegetables that your kid ate, are those acceptable levels? Because if they're not, guess what? These fruits and vegetables have plant compounds known as phytonutrients, and these are what give us the antioxidants. These are what disable the cancer-causing substances that are happening in our body. The third factor that we've got to pay a lot of attention to, we are in a fat deficiency here in this country. And this is pretty alarming, because when you think about the fact that obesity rates are skyrocketing, how in the world can we be having a fat deficiency? Okay, we are overloaded with a type of fat called omega-6. Okay, just know that omega fatty acids are considered essential, which means the body cannot make them. So whether it's omega-3, 6, 7, or 9, you have to consume it from some type of outside source because your body doesn't make it. But the reality is this: we are overloaded with omega-6. Omega-6 is that unhealthy fat that creates inflammation. Now, why in the world will our body need an unhealthy fat? Because if you have a cut Or if you have something that happens severely, your body needs to create inflammation in order to heal and for that cut to start to repair. And so a little bit of unhealthy is okay, it's acceptable. But the problem here in this country is we're overloaded with that unhealthy. We have way too much omega-6. And as a result of that, we're suffering like no other country in the world. I'm talking about the richest country in the world, and yet we're dying faster than third world countries. We rank 50th for life expectancy because this deficiency of omega-3 is causing cardiovascular disease. It's causing heart attacks, strokes, high blood pressure. When we test people and see that they're deficient in omega-3, and sometimes the ratios are so far out of whack, they are a walking candidate for a heart attack or stroke. Wouldn't you like to know that a stroke is coming before it comes so that you have the opportunity to do something about it? Cognitive decline. When you think about depression, anxiety, and Alzheimer's, these are on the rise. We're fearing Alzheimer's at an all-time high in this country because our brain is starving for the right type of fat. Chronic inflammation, which accelerates diabetes, it accelerates arthritis, it accelerates cancer, it accelerates autoimmune diseases. And so this omega-3 deficiency is so serious, and it's even contributing to weight gain, obesity. It's contributing to a decreased immune function, our bone health. We're getting osteoporosis at skyrocketing rates compared to other countries, guys. Number 4, we've got to protect our gut. Okay, 70% of our immune system is housed in our gut. We have this thing called the microbiome. And so we need fiber, prebiotics, probiotics. We need to detoxify. Number 5, we've got to pay attention to parasites. We have to eliminate these parasites. And why this is so critical is if you look at recent autopsy findings, what they're showing is the presence of parasites in our organs, guys, in our brain, our liver, our lungs, even in individuals who are not suspected to be infected. And so these findings are suggesting that parasites can exist in our body without even causing noticeable symptoms, leading to a silent invasion that gradually impairs organ function over time, and even mental health issues, guys. And so I want to now share with you some good news because you've heard a lot. And I'm sure most of you are like I was, looking for something to help stop what's happening here in this country. And so just know that these products are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure, or prevent any disease. This information provided herein is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for advice from your physician or other healthcare professional. If you are pregnant, nursing, taking medications, or have a medical condition, please consult your healthcare provider before using any nutritional supplements. And know that individual results may vary. And so here's what we're excited about. After looking and analyzing the problem in this country, what we identified, and we've been in existence, guys, since 2019. So we're almost 6 years in business, right? We have over 32,000 customers. We have tens of thousands of customers, right, who have benefited from our products. And we've found that there are 5 key areas that if we focus on that and we bring a product that focuses on those 5 areas, we're going to bring something that will transform the health of this country. So our product delivers not only blood type support, but antioxidant protection, your omega-3 fatty acids, your gut health with your prebiotics, your probiotics, your fiber. It eliminates parasites. So imagine one product you can consume on a daily basis to address all of these issues. And this is the world's first. We're super excited about this because when you really think about our flat belly fuel, it's designed to break the cycle, to fuel our future. We really want to help create those blue zones by targeting the 5 key areas that really matter the most. Our vision is a world where every individual has access to the nutrition and resources they need to thrive, leading to a healthier, wealthier, and more resilient communities. We aspire to be a catalyst for global change, fostering a future free from the limitations of disease and poverty, where every corner of the globe flourishes. And so we want to create blue zone communities, blue zone families, because there are 6 places in the world where people on average live to well into their 80s and often 90s and 100 years young, okay? So imagine you breaking the generational cycle and creating a blue zone family where you equip your family with the knowledge they need to succeed. But first, we have to detoxify our blood cells, okay? So in addition to taking in really good nutrition, we've got to eliminate, a lot of these issues, right? So we want to boost our digestion. We have to regulate our appetite, reduce those cravings. We got to detoxify our liver. We got to get out that omega-6 unhealthy fat that we have too much of, okay? We have to alkaline the body. We got to improve our gut. And so this system that we've put together is designed to do all of that. And so we're going to give you the steps on how you can incorporate not only our detox, but our flat belly fuel so that you can live your best life. And what I'm so excited about, a lot of times when you hear things like this, it's great. The products sound great, but let's prove it. Let's prove it's going to work. And so here's what we know. We know it takes 120 days for your red blood cells to renew. And what I love about our product, folks, is we have thousands of incidental evidence of people whose lives have transformed. And so we offer a comprehensive test. And this test allows you to see where you're at with your fatty acids, with your gut, with your vitamin and minerals, with your heart, liver, and kidney. So you can do a test. It's a $1,000 value. You can actually take advantage of getting this for as little as $189. And we believe that's just amazing to have something that's so comprehensive that would cost you over $1,000 for less than $200. But here's what we're super excited about, guys. In September, we have just launched something so special that it's going to really make this affordable. We know that the grocery prices are skyrocketing. Inflation has skyrocketed. People oftentimes can't afford healthy meals. So what if we could bring you a healthy meal that you can take every day? And your first month, when you enroll in our auto ship, it would cost you just $109, but that would include that $1,000 test. So you can get your test. If you're in a city where we may not have our scan coaches, you get a coupon. So when you're in a state in which we have our certified coaches, you can get it done. You can start your products whether or not you have the scan or not. But the reality is this, for $109, you're getting the scan, test, or coupon. You're getting your first meal for the month. So this is 30 days worth of meal replacement. You're also going to receive our blood type so that you can learn your blood type. You're getting the bitters. You're getting all the foods you should eat for your blood type and the foods you should avoid. Now, let's say you go on this auto ship. That 109 is your first month. The second month, instead of paying $69 for your flat belly fuel, you'll pay just $59. Because again, you're going to need at least 4 months of doing this so that you can have a chance for your red blood cells to renew. Because remember, it takes about 120 days for you to renew those red blood cells. And so additional products that we offer include our CBD, which is great for reducing inflammation, our skincare, our hair care, our weight loss, our flat belly 7 and 21 day cleanse, our essential oils, because our goal, our focus, our mission is to help 1.5% of people here in the United States to learn their blood type. And then we're going to take this concept across the world. And so what I want to do before we close it out, we have a few people I know on the line, and I want you to have a chance to hear from them so that you can see the magnitude and the impact of what it means to start eating according to your blood type. And so I'm going to first reach all the way out to Columbia, South Carolina, where we have Kathy Weathersby. She is one of our strong blood type O's, the original. And I'm telling you what, since she adapted this lifestyle, just to see what's happened in her life. It's pretty remarkable. So Kathy Weathersby, if you can come to the line and just share with everyone what's happened to you since adapting this whole lifestyle.
But yes, I am one of those O's. We do have a really good constitution, but I tell you, Melissa, learning how to eat right for my blood type really keeps me in line with how my body needs to be. I'm a person who has suffered from inflammation for years. And even though I recently had some surgeries to correct that, eating right for my blood type has really helped me to recover very quickly from 2 serious surgeries. It has allowed me to maintain weight loss and continue weight loss and knowing exactly what foods are going to be beneficial for me. And so, approaching 60 is really exciting now because I know exactly what to do to bring my body into balance and to make sure that I can increase my health as I get older. And so I feel empowered, I feel excited. And I'm so grateful to be connected with you as my mentor and to have the knowledge that this company brings so that I can bring that out to my family and to my community. And I'm just so excited about what we have to offer. Looking forward to sharing, helping people to understand how important the information that you've just shared is to us. So thank you so much, Melissa.
Wow, Cassie, thank you so much. And I am going to keep it moving. I mean, we're just getting started. I mean, this month is September 1st, and it marks a 90-day run. It marks an 18-month period where we're going to impact 1 million lives. Hopefully you see the vision of where we're going. You'll take action tonight. You'll learn your blood type. We're going to go through some of those action steps. In fact, while we're waiting on her to unmute herself, let's go through that. So there's 5 steps that you can take tonight. The first question, and this is a question we led with, is do you know your blood type? Okay, if you don't, number 2, we want you to learn your blood type. Number 3, you can go buy your blood type starter kit. Okay, this blood type starter kit, it's going to include your blood type test kit. It's going to include your meal replacement shake. It's going to include a 4-day detox, your digital blood type yes list, and your detox meal plan. Now, here's what's unbelievable is you can get all of that for just as little as $60, okay? So we're super excited about that. And then you join the campaign because, again, we're committed to helping over 1 million people learn their blood type, be a part of our Guinness Book of World Records campaign. But next, you have to share this with your family, okay? We know it's critical for you to understand that you want to work with your kids, you want to work with your grandkids. In order for us to break this generational curse, we have to develop a how to eat right plan for you and your family. And that's step number 4. And then step number 5, you want to tell every person with ears, okay, to join this movement, okay? In fact, we'll give you color-coded material that you're going to have a chance to access through your own customer portal, because the reality is this, the power is in your hands. Now that you've learned that one person's nutrition is another person's poison, what are you going to do about it, okay? And so with that being said, we want to just be encouraged tonight to know that while you might have heard some information that sometimes is scary, like, wow, we know there's a lot of things that are happening that may not feel like it's in our control. But the good news is when it comes to our health, when it comes to what we put in our body, it is within our control. And so we have a decision to make tonight. And so what I want you to do is get back with the person who invited you, get your questions answered. Perhaps you need more extensive help. On Tuesdays, our VP of Communications, Dr. Roz, has a coaching call where you can join and learn exactly what our detox regimen is, what types of foods to eat, and you can get these digital lists so you'll know exactly what to do. And so make sure you plug in so that you can be a part of what's happening during our trainings. And so with that being said, again, thank you so much. We almost reached our goal. Today, we had a goal to get 100 people impacted. I believe at the height, we had 86 people, okay? So kudos to each and every one of you for plugging in. But what's most important is not just plugging in, but let's get out of this call. Let's take action. And let's go out and do something to impact our family and our future generations. And so with that being said, so we're going to go ahead and conclude the call tonight. So thank you all. Have a phenomenal night.